Sadashiva Samarambam Sankasharya Bhajamam Asmadacharya Payantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guratemeti Muchi Veda Vibhagine Vyomavada Vyapata Dehaya Dakshinamurtiya Namaha Sarva Vedanta Sedanta Gocharantam Agocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satchiguru Pranatoshmaha. Oh, slowly, it's sinking in. I'm almost more than halfway memorized already. Oh, miracle! Memory is still working a little bit.
You will be next to the Sampradaya.
Next, I'm going to go up on the Sampradaya because I learned at least those few words. So next year, if I come back, I'm going to have a long beard and I'm going to wear orange. Orange, a long beard. Okay?
Good idea.
And I'm going to do an intensive to learn a few Sanskrit words. So I'm.
About your wife?
Huh?
You have orange, no?
Oh, she's gonna grow some big hairs as well.
Okay. Can we make a picture then? Thomas?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We send it home to James.
Yeah.
And we need to get you a Nehru patent.
And then I'm gonna need your help to help to find a good name for the guru. You know, because Ramji stripped away my spiritual name. I used to be called Nagarjuna. He said, Nagarjuna, I mean, just call your legal name. Because my name was Nagarjuna Anand. And they say, oh, I hate these people who put Anand just to pretend that they are sannyas and they are light. So just use your ordinary name. So now we have to get Arlindo and put Arlinda Nandji or some.
Can you give us some names?
Huh?
Can you give us some names?
No, you have to help me. I mean, I'm gonna tell you an incredible story. There was a guru in California. California is the place for everything. There was this guru who used to be a disciple. He never met Ramana, but he said he got enlightened for Ramana, and he was teaching Ramana's teaching. But he used to be called a very ordinary American name, you know. And then somebody told, you know, I mean, your sangha is not growing because of your name. He had already a website and everything. Your name is no good. And then he thought about that. He said, I'm going to ask the master to give me a name. I was there it was my first retreat with him. It was when the very, very end of my process when things were moving. I say, okay, I need to go somewhere to accelerate this process. I went there and I couldn't understand what was going on. He was there doing his blah, 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 that you don't understand a word of what he's trying to say. He spends 4, 5, 6 hours sitting, looking at the wall, giving the back to the audience, not to get any bad vibes from the people. The newcomers have to be in the back. And then at a certain point, he's blah, blahing something, and then he say, oh, the master is sending the transmission. But I'm not exaggerating, it was just like that. The transmission is coming. And then he said that beautiful Sanskrit name that I cannot repeat here because it goes in the video. You know? But it was a beautiful, you know, meaning the ultimate God of the gods. And he said, the master is sending me. And he went like, you know, syllables. I say syllables? Syllables by syllables. Oh, yes. And then everybody in the crowd said, oh my God, thank you, Ramana, you have given the proper name to our guru now. So next year we need to be well organized. I need a good name as well.
And how is this beautiful guru now doing?
Huh?
How is he now doing?
No, he's around. He was here up to recently. I cannot tell anymore. Yeah. My wife is already looking to me like you are gossiping, and then I'm gonna get in trouble when I get home. I drink a tea. That's the problem. So I'm gonna sleep in the kitchen tonight.
How do you used to say, Sundar is giving me dirty looks.
Yeah. Oh, Shri is big, huh? But not more than Shri is to see some gurus that start doing like Rajneesh, give you a mala with their pictures. Have you heard about that?
What?
A mala with their pictures? Are you aware that the Moji did that?
Yeah.
We have a proof. Look there.
You have to buy it in the shop.
Yeah, and that's it. You have to pay.
Oh wait, it's a mala?
A mala, look there.
Yes.
No
We
kidding.
can help you with
With his picture.
Fuji's on there? Yeah, Fuji's on there.
No more tea. Samadhi, no more tea. Okay.
Next year we'll do the same with you. We'll have all malas with you.
No, that is really, when I saw that, I say, oh my God, I was still holding some degree of respect to the men when I see that, when I see everybody throwing themselves on their foot. You know, no, come.
Maybe we can have a mala, Arjuna.
Huh?
We can have a mala.
With the picture of Ramji and see how he's going to react to that.
A picture of your belly button.
We should do that. Get some malas made with the picture of
It'll be
Ramji.
mysterious then. He's like, oh, what's that? Oh, the unknown, beyond.
Okay, verse 21. 21? 88. He or she is not subject to elation when situations are in harmony with his or her likes and dislikes, or to depression when they are not. When we know we are the self, we are no longer subject to the highs and lows that characterize the emotional life of those who identify with the body-mind. So I think we already got that. No? So we don't need to feel. Yeah. Liberation is knowing that happiness is not the object. Unhappiness also. Oh no, we did not complete this. I was starting. We are just starting. Yeah. That's what we were saying. So there is no highs and lows. There is no super excitement like you get when you drink Red Bull, and then you go to the discotheque. So you don't get that kind of high anymore. So, but you don't go down. You're always happy, satisfied. So long as we believe we are an individual, we are dependent upon circumstances that we cannot control for whatever happiness we may experience. That's the problem. If we had the control, and they say, oh, I don't care, I like highs, I know how to produce highs, you know, and I'm in full control of the game, I'm the deliverer of the results of my destiny, my action, and I like high. But no, the problem is that you are absolutely not in control upon the circumstance. So you don't know how to produce happiness 24/7. We are also at the mercy of those circumstances when they present us with a situation we find unpleasant, painful, undesirable. As mentioned in the previous commentary and throughout this work, liberation is knowing that happiness is in the object. How interesting this statement, huh?
It's not.
Not? I was just testing you guys. Happiness is not in the object. And if it's not in the object, where is this happiness to be found? In the nature of the subject, in the fundamental nature of the subject. The corollary follows. Corollary? Corollary. What is that? Huh?
It's like amplification, associated.
Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, similarly we can say that unhappiness is not found in the object. I should have read that sentence. And then I always find the meaning if I read the sentence. I'm just trying to learn some new words here. Follows the unhappiness. It's very important to understand that unhappiness is not in any object as well. You know? Happiness is not to be found in any object, and unhappiness is not to be found in any object. It's all a byproduct of our subjective perception based on our likes and dislikes. It's important to know that, because some people they suffer a lot, not because they don't get what they want, but because life keeps bringing them things, and they have a long list of I don't like, and then it's constantly suffering because they believe that, you know, the I don't like is in the object, and it's in your own list. Understood? We have a back satsang there, right? So if we like things, and then we have to chase what we like. If we don't like things, we need to avoid what we don't like. If our list of I don't like is very extensive, we have to be all the time stressed and agitated trying to avoid things in life. That's why I mentioned at the very beginning it's better to like nearly everything. That's the attitude of the Karma Yogi. Take everything as prasad and say, thank you, Lord. I like anything. And then I'm resolved with that problem. Freedom lies in this escape from the tyranny of circumstance, which amounts to our being slave to our likes and dislikes. Beautiful sentence, huh? Very concise, very precise. Freedom lies in this escape from the tyranny. Tyranny is a good word. I always like to use this word from the old days of my satsangs before Vedanta. The tyranny of vasanas, just, you know, pushing themselves, compelling us to act in a self-diminishing manner. Freedom lies in this escape from the tyranny of a circumstance which amounts to our being enslaved to our likes and dislikes. And we don't want to live that way. We want freedom from that sort of tyranny imposed by the system. And it's all happening because I took my experience personally, and it's a function of my likes and dislikes. I want things to conform to my likes and dislikes. Verse 89, he or she is indifferent to praise or blame. So long as we think happiness is in the object or other people, or in the other people, and other people are included in the list of objects. So we are all objects. We have to remember, we appear as an individual subject when we perceive the otherness from our perspective, our others, and then we appear as a subject. But guess what? the guy next to you are going to look at you and say, and you appear to me as an object. I'm sorry, there is something wrong here. You are saying that you are the subject, but I'm saying I am the subject and you are an object, right? So people, we are just inert objects appearing under this, in the scope of consciousness awareness. So we are an object in awareness, but we have this self-reflectivity, self-reflection that allows us to develop this sense of consciousness, which is borrowed, by the way. It's borrowed. Consciousness is conscious. As long as we think happiness is in the object and other people are included in the catalog of objects, we will want others to think well of us. This is a big one, huh? So there are all these objects, the other people are objects, and I depend on objects, and what is one of the most fundamental objects we depend upon? Give me love, please. Love me. Validate me. Right? Appreciate me. Think well of me. I'm a good. You know, let me help you. Let me do this and that, so on. Let me give you money. I'm a do-gooder. So we want love. We want others to think well of us. This comes from the doubt and insecurity that we feel as individuals trying to find lasting happiness in a never-shifting set of circumstances. This insecurity, every one of us have this huge sense of inadequacy, of insufficiency. Everybody is born, not only we are born and we find ourselves in a world of duality, and we think, oh, it's me and the world, you know, and then I have to secure and so on. So we are being governed, driven by this fundamental ignorance of duality. On top of that, we're going to be fed and governed by these vasanas that very soon are going to shape themselves, you know, based on the tendencies of all experience from previous lives. And then the society, those vasanas are going to be inside with those seeds of inadequacy already. Oh, you know, there is a problem with me, there is something not right, and so on. And then you start growing immediately. Everybody in contact with you is going to begin reinforce those feedbacks, those impressions. They start saying no, and the poor thing is so filled with energy and you want to express itself. You know the story of this little boy in India? No, it was not in India. I think it was in USA. He goes to the school. And the teacher, the first day, he was very small, preschool. And then the teacher asks, okay, the name of everybody. And then when she comes to this boy and say, what's your name, sweetheart? And he said, my name is No. They say, no, sweetheart, no. Your real name, what's your name? It's No. Everything I try to do, my mother say, no. That's what happens. I mean, there is something wrong with you. Don't do this, don't do that. What do you think? You cannot be yourself, right? Don't express yourself. Don't say anything loud. So we get this feeling. So this is what we get from our cultures. So every one of us have this huge sense of inadequacy. And then to compensate it, we go around say like, please love me, validate me, and so on. Those are different aspects of bifurcation, when something begins from here and then it spreads like that. Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, only two. It cannot be many. Yeah, ramifications is the easiest one. Those are ramifications of the fundamental piece of ignorance, which is I'm the body. And I have to watch out because there is the entire universe that made of all the bodies and I am alone here. I have to. But then we get all those other feedbacks that we are body and that there is something wrong with us. The sense of inadequacy is big. And then we go about feeling insecure and we want to try to find lasting happiness by gaining love from people. We want to be loved. We think, yes, I am worth of being loved. And we feel pleased and at peace for a moment when people appreciate us. But what happens when another no longer thinks well of us? And then another person comes and says, hey, by the way, yesterday I loved you, but now I hate you. I don't like you anymore. And then what happens to the person? So all the confidence and security is gone. We lose his love and our confidence, our estimation of our own worth sinks. We then think, yes, I'm not lovable. And for a good reason. Because we have this piece of, this voice already planted in our mind from our childhood. I am unlovable and for a good reason. Others are right to think little of me. So he's dramatizing here. As long as we measure our worth by the apparent love others express for our apparent personality, we live in this insecure world of the mind where doubt never ceases and self-image is like a chameleon. Beautiful, huh? Chameleon? Chameleon. Yeah. We want to be respected and loved, but it's a setup. Yeah? Oh, now I am a respected person. People pay respect to me, appreciate, love me. And then comes a moment I say something wrong, or I do something wrong. And then there goes the love and respect. And if you abandon people's love and respect, it's a huge setup. You understand? So we don't want to be respected or loved by anybody, because we love ourselves. So we are the very source of love. And we don't want to have a reputation either. Why to have a reputation? So I remember I was there in Brazil, there was one guy got really mad at me, very, very mad, and he's trying to attack me in every possible way. Attacking, in the internet, attacking. And then he was trying to destroy my reputation. Then I wrote a message to him, hey man, you waste your time, I have no reputation. What do you want to destroy here? Nobody knows that I exist, you know? Oh, it's better not to have a reputation. When we are free of the mind, we are free of measuring our worth by the yardstick of some others' opinions, including our own opinion. That's a good one, including our own opinion. No? In fact, there are no others, just the self. Can awareness be praised or blamed? For what? By whom? So who is going to judge awareness? Who is going to judge you? No, really. Nobody can judge us. Anybody can judge consciousness. The court of public opinion is closed when we come up here. There's no otherness, there's nothing other than me, so who is going to judge me? If everything here is just about me, not me, but me as all there is. So there's nothing to be concerned. verse 90. There is no samsara, no life of becoming for the liberated. If there is samsara, there is no knowledge of awareness owing to extroversion of the mind. There is no samsara, no life of becoming for the liberated. So somebody who knows who he or she is absolutely done with this idea of becoming a better jiva, a better person, a better construct. She understood that there is no such a thing as a perfect jiva. That's what Ramji, one time I heard him say, and it was very nice. It clicked to me. He said, "Oh, if you want if you want purity, so knock yourself out. Go there and work for purification." How purified can something be in samsara? There is no such a thing as 100% purification. But there is something such as 100% hard and firm self-knowledge. You love that which has no impurities to begin with. You understand? We in love with that which has no impurities because it's one without a second. And that solves the problem, resolves the problem, the human problem. But if we want to be too much concerned and involved with the jiva, and want the jiva to become a better jiva and a better jiva and a better jiva, and then the mind purified and more beautiful. That's what Ranjit tried to make a stand to show us, It's not about purification, it's about knowledge. And a lot of people do not understand it. It's about a hard and fast knowledge that, it insulates you from all the shocks of life, all the adversities of life. This hard and fast knowledge are here and beyond. Beyond is here, by the way, it's not beyond. You understand? It's about knowledge. Yes.
Is love then belong to Nitya love?
Love?
Love, yeah. Because it's
yes.
a non-dual love, I suppose.
Yeah. So I like to see love as in Mithya as a human experience, and it's only the jiva can experience and know. It's an attribute of the jiva when he understands the nature of reality as non-duality, and then he starts appreciating everything. Love to me is appreciation. Okay?
So you can have a non-dual love in that sense. If everything is equal, then everything is equally appreciated.
Yeah.
Everything is equally loved.
Yeah. When you understand the non-dual nature of the universe or reality, and then you see it solves me consciousness, and then you see yourself in everything, and then there is love. It's appreciation. Ramji likes to present love as attention, but attention to me is an aspect of appreciate something. When we appreciate something, our attention goes. Now, when you appreciate everything as yourself, so you have a love which is not dualistic between you and universe. It's you and yourself. This is non-dual love. Where are we? 89? 90? 90. There is no samsara, there is no life of becoming for the liberated. So, and yet, here and there we talk that after self-realization, when the individual is firm with this knowledge, there is a process of purification that goes on its own. You remember? We had this conversation. Yet after that, but this process belongs to the construct, to the jiva, and the jiva with self-knowledge does not take it, does not own that, does not feel like I am the highly purified jiva, you understand? The jiva is going its natural, impersonal process of purification as a result of a life lived according to Dharma, and firm with the knowledge of my own nature. It's naturally the mind gets purified. But one does not own it, one does not need, oh, it's my karma, it's my pure mind, or it's my this, my that, you know. You see how pure I am. No, it's not about that. There's no becoming. Samsara can be understood to refer to reincarnation. Yeah, because here we can be misled to say there is no samsara, there is no becoming for the liberate. So we could think that it's in terms of the cycle of life, death, and reincarnation. But that's not its meaning in the context of this verse. Samsara here means identification with the body-mind, with its ever-changing conditions. So long as we think we are an individual, we perceive a world of objects separate from us, and we are driven by the pull produced by the objects. So what is samsara? Samsara is samsara only from the moment that we identify as the body-mind. We see the world of objects as something other than myself, and then I'm caught up in the game. I need to get things. I need to work my tendencies, my likes and dislikes, my actions come into place, and then I see I have a vasana load operating, I have my karma, and so on.
I think samsara stands here for suffering, actually.
Huh?
I think it stands here for suffering. There's no samsara, no suffering.
That's not the meaning, the context of this verse. Samsara here means identification with the body-mind, with its ever-changing conditions. As long as we think we are an individual, we perceive a world of objects separate from us, and we are driven by the pull produced by the object. This magnetic pull, no? Just like... Some objects we like, some we do not like. We have at best only a very limited control over which objects we will experience, which renders us impotent in the face of their ceaseless fluctuations. So this is samsara. Samsara is this projection of duality in the non-dual nature of the self. It appears as diversity, and some of the objects takes a position as individual subject, and then we see duality, and then we want to gain those objects as a mean to the objects of our likes, as I mean to find the fleeting moments of satisfaction and limitlessness. So there is no samsara, no becoming, no gaining, no achieving. There is no ambition. That's a very interesting thing as well. Not to have ambition. You know, just imagine so many people in the spiritual world. They have an ambition to be a teacher, to be someone in the spiritual world, not to have their main name craved, go into history and have. You know, I mean, when you are free, you don't give damn for any of that, you know. You have no ambition. Ambition is a byproduct of ignorance. I need something to compensate some ignorance here that, you know, feels that unless I'm recognized and validated, so I'm a poor something, a poor guru, a poor teacher. That is no ambition. for example, we cannot, for instance, predict what will happen 2 minutes from now and whether we'll like it or dislike it. That's very nice. We don't know what our next experience will be, if it's going to be favorable or unfavorable to our likes and dislikes, right? You never know. It's surprise. That's the beautiful thing about life. It's a surprising box. It's all the time. Oh, wow. This places us in a pitiable situation, forever going up and down. We know that one, huh? Are we not tired about going up and down? No, really, for real. Come on, Silva, tell me, are you not tired about going? Every time that life presents itself in a certain way, it's either like, crashing. We are grown-ups. So it's about time to be done with being pushed around that way. No? Forever going up and down on the seesaw of pain and pleasure, unable to achieve any intellectual emotional stability. Stability is the key here. Equanimity, stability, moderation. No, not like, it's just like satisfaction, contentment, peace, stability. No? Knowledge. All of that comes as a byproduct of self-knowledge. This is samsara, the life of endless becoming. And the verse began with becoming. Samsara is nothing but becoming. Life after life becoming. I want to become something more, better, more lovable, more respected, more beautiful, more pure, and whatever, you know. That's samsara, the life of becoming, endless. Achieving something, becoming, gaining. When we are liberated, we are free of samsara. There is no set of external conditions necessary for our happiness. So this is the text trying to get everybody sold into self-knowledge and self-inquiry, the benefits of self-knowledge. Just imagine the freedom of not being pushed around and dependent on all those circumstances that we have absolutely no control. Absolutely no control. If we attach to our likes and dislikes, we're going to be being pushed around and experience these ups and downs big time. It's all because we believe we have such an investment on our likes and dislikes. This is samsara, the life of endless achieving, gaining, becoming. When we are liberated, liberate from what? Ignorance. Ignorance, I did not get that everything is me. My nature is limitlessness, fullness, wholeness and completion. I did not understand that. I think that I am a mind containing a physical body. And when the body breaks down, my existence goes. It's all based on that fundamental mistake. So when we know that we are all there is me, consciousness, we are liberate from that ignorance. We are free from Maya, samsara. In fact, there are no external conditions at all, for there is no inside and outside to awareness. That's nice, huh? There's no, I want to develop equanimity. about everything that's out there. I say, excuse me, out there? Are you still thinking that there are things out there? Well, that's what the text is saying. It's all in you, as you. No separate from you. Then now the commentaries are going to address the extroversion of the mind, as the verse states. There is samsara, there is no knowledge of awareness, only to extroversion of the mind. So extroversion of the mind is the main cause of samsara. Why this whole thing come into creation? Because all those vasanas, they are extroverted. They are mostly desires and fears, which are the same kind of energy that extrovert the mind towards trying to gain or become something, as I mean to complete oneself. We come into existence, the whole world comes into existence due to those seeds of desires and fears. This extroversion of the mind. Extroversion means turning outward.
It says here the not-self is no longer perceived in the formal line. I find it a bit weird, because the world is still going to remain.
The last is because realities collapse, so there's no more difference between self and not self, there's only self.
We're talking about perception, and I perceive the world. If you are ever you perceive the world, so what do you mean?
Let's see, I jumped to that last few sentences here. There is no set of external conditions necessary for our happiness. In fact, there are no external conditions at all, because all is me. For there is no inside and outside of awareness, because awareness is non-dual. And the not-self, the world, the projection, the world of apparent objects within the scope of awareness, the not-self is no longer perceived as real.
That's real, okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but it is perceived,
Yeah.
It exists, but it's not real. So I find it a poor line.
When it's perceived as real, that you forgot to throw the real there. The not-self is not longer perceived as real. When it's perceived as real, it means that you are still bound to objects, you are still not liberated. That's the implied meaning of the sentence here. When it's perceived as real, we are not liberated. No, we are over that. We know that the universe remains, the objects remains, it's just our understanding is clear about the nature of ourselves as non-dual consciousness. Extroversion means turning outward. It's to see reality, not as it is, which is undivided awareness, but as a subject perceiving a multiplicity of independent objects. That's extroversion. And it's very, very, very rare not to find an extrovert mind when we are very young. The mind, when we are young, usually has a lot of rajas, wanting to touch, feel, and taste the world in every possible way. So, but sometimes you see young people having a stable mind, free from excessive extroversion. Extroversion means turning outwards. It's to see reality not as it is, divided awareness, but as a subject perceiving a multiplicity of independent objects, duality. As long as we are extrovert, we are trapped in duality. A lone creature looking out at an aligned world that sometimes wounds us and sometimes here and there pleases us. So as long as we don't really understand the true nature of reality, we're going to be totally extrovert, trying to secure our existence and extract a little bits and pieces of joy here and there. That's the extroversion is due to It's not only the root cause of the projection of the universe, but from the individual, microcosmic level of experience, is the cause of us chasing objects as a means to secure and complete ourselves. Yes?
How is it? How is the work being perceived?
Perceived.
What? Perceived. If you know the senses are not real, so you're still feeling and touching and everything.
Yeah.
It's not a little bit weird, but when you realize those senses are not me, this body is not me either, but you still have your senses.
Yeah, but once we go through those breakdown, we break down our experience by being recognized here, but before here, then before here, then before in the sense instruments and so on. We do that for the sake of discriminate the self from all those levels of experience. The world remains, experience remains, and the one who is established in awareness lives, experience the world like anybody else. It's not that it's a weird experience. No, it's the same experience as any other one.
So you still have your senses, you still
Of
touch,
course,
feel
yeah,
everything.
everything. But then self-knowledge does something which is, it somehow, it makes the jiva indifferent to whatsoever. Like it's a positive indifference. It's a sense that there are different levels, experientially speaking, for the jiva mukta. First, he's free from anxiety regarding the results of one's prarabdha karma. He does not feel that he's the doer, the thinker. He knows that everything is Ishvara. And he's still participating, but he objectifies his own participation in the world. And all through there is this sense of freedom, which is derived by the firm knowledge of my limitless nature. And that knowledge neutralizes the fear of the myth called death, which is the most fundamental fear. You understand?
Yeah.
So you know that you're still seeing everything, perceive and experience, but there is you established as awareness that objectifies the jiva, experiencing, knowing, and transacting the world of objects.
As we said at the very beginning, from here at least, it's only about the shift of appreciation about things. You understand that all this projection is just a projection and empty and not real, but the things remain like
They
this,
remain.
and the experience itself remains as well.
Yeah, everything. The relation. What is different? It's what's different is that if, from the standpoint of the jiva with self-knowledge, he knows that it's not really a jiva, but still this jiva has to respond to the field, okay? Has to do things and so on. From the standpoint of this jiva, he's doing things, okay? Like apparently like any other jiva, but he's doing things on a platform of happiness, joy, and satisfaction. He's not doing things to gain anything, to become anything. He's just responding to the field, knowing himself to be free from that. So there is a sense of freedom in living life under the impact of this firm knowledge, you understand?
So it's a joyful experience at the end, because it is at least like watching a movie, so you see all the things.
Something like that.
You can see, imagine, and almost smell the experience, feel it like it's real, and you know yourself that the movie is going to have an end.
Yeah, it's like that. The other day I was making an example that I had a dream, and somehow I diverted from the dream, and I did not conclude the story of the dream. There was a dream, and there was a group small like ours in this airplane. And the airplane was taking off from a street of India somewhere. There were trucks and buses, and he was going between the bus and gaining some speed, and then he started taking off. But it seems they did not have enough speed, and then it started collapsing. And then it started really diving and there was abysm. And then when I look at the situation, I saw us there, and I say, okay, so we're gonna crash. And then the interesting thing is that I would say we're gonna crash, but it was a total sense of being a spectator of a movie. There was no attachment or involvement or fear. And I was telling this dream to Sylvia, and she said, oh, how interesting, because usually when we have a movie like that, a projection like that, we wake up in panic. But I did not tell the rest of the story. Yes, I'm in the middle of the story. Tell me.
No, I'm
I was in the plane and I was having so much fun.
Yeah, of course, I know. So Gabriel was there, and he was also very cool and tranquil and enjoy himself. And the plane is going like that. Yeah. So, and I say, okay, we're gonna crash. So what? No, I mean, like, oh. What? And then, for my surprise, the bang did not happen. It did not crash. The plane somehow entered another order of reality, dimension. Instead of crashing, enter into a different dimension where there were other beings and so on, and then the plane landed, and then I come out and some other people come out and say, okay, let's explore this realm and see how things work here, and then we start going out and visiting with other people. I mean, beautiful dream, and but the relevant aspect is this fear of crashing and dying lives. This knowledge produced, this was the most intriguing phenomenon that happened to me when self-realization took place, that I felt like I'm no longer afraid and I'm responding. The relationship, that's what I was going to say before. The world remains, the actions remain, but even from the standpoint of the jiva, the relationship between the jiva and the world changed, It's a relationship change. You know that the world has nothing to give to you because now the jiva knows that the jiva is not real, only a jiva. It's a jiva knowing its fundamental, essential, independent nature as free awareness. Therefore, the jiva appearing to the world has a different, cool kind of wise relationship towards the world. What's the time? It's getting dark. I just realized now. Which is the verse we are doing? We are on the first paragraph? Okay, let's finish it. So when it's perceived, we are not liberated, okay? When we perceive the world as real, it means we are not liberated. Extroversion means turning outward. As long as we extrovert, we are trapped in duality, a lone creature looking out for security and going through the ups and downs of pleasure and pains. We become like figures in a Greek tragedy with the fate spinning and cutting the threads of our lives while we helplessly suffer or enjoy. But we mostly suffer, so I don't like to say that, but it's a fact, and somehow somebody said it. It was not me. I did not add this one here. It's in your book there as well. We mostly suffer. That's the truth. It says as well there, mostly suffer. Yeah? No. Yeah, I mean, don't blame me. We mostly suffer because all happiness found in objects, that is through extroversion, is fleeting happiness. To be free. So we have nothing to lose. This is the point. I mean, we cannot get any worse. And once we get to Vedanta, we can only go north, not south anymore. To be free means to be no longer strapped to the wheel of samsara, while it turns in endless cycles of pleasure and pain. This is a cycle of reincarnation. We are born in some experience, the experience goes, and then we die to an experience, and then we are born into another object experience. This is the same cycle of reincarnation. We reincarnate to every sort of experience we have. who would not wish to know such a freedom? That's what I was trying to say. So we can be confident that it's very much worth our effort, especially at your very young age. So you have a beautiful life, like Ramji says. So he got it. He blew everything in his life. He said, I'm going to go to the most valuable thing, because if I get it at my early age, so I'm going to have 40, 50, 60 years to enjoy samsara from the standpoint of knowledge. So, unfortunate to me, it came a little bit late. I cannot even drink wine anymore, but it's okay.
Better late than never.
So, tomorrow, verse 91. Sadashiva Samrambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Esvaro Guratemeti Murtibeda Vibhagine Yomavada Vyapata Dehaya Dakshinamurtiya Namaha Sava Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharanta Magocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satiguru Pranatosh Mahamam Shanti. Thank you, Shankara, Ramji, and all the rich wishes in the universe.
And thank you.
And